What's also out of control is this crisis at the border. Another busload of migrants from the southern border arriving here in D.C. this morning. The third bus Texas Governor Greg Abbott has sent from his state in protest of President Biden's border policies. More than 24 migrants dropped off on Capitol Hill as part of Governor Abbott's plan to raise awareness about the severity of this crisis that he says is about to get worse. And that's because next month the Biden administration is dropping that rule called Title 42, which makes it easier to deny entry to migrants at the border. Here to respond is Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. I want to ask, first of all, is this having the impact that you all in Texas had hoped? How many more of these are coming?
Well, we don't know how many more are coming, but surely this is a step in the right direction, because what we're really doing is a multifaceted plan to try and stop illegal immigrants from crossing the border. One is sending buses back to get attention in Washington and hopefully create a showdown, a constitutional crisis with the federal government, that they cannot stand by and ignore the law. They cannot allow Texas and America to be invaded. Our founding fathers never ever thought we'd have a president who would allow our country to be invaded, and we would like to get back to the Supreme Court to say that states have a right to protect their own citizens, which we do. We take an oath to our office. We put our hand on the Bible and the Constitution to protect the life, liberty, and welfare of our citizens and American citizens. And the Biden administration is usurping that by this open border policy. So let's send them on the buses to Washington. Secondly, another prong of the plan is to stop truck traffic coming across the border, which we've done for the last week or so. And now the state is negotiating with all the governors on the Mexican side of the border that say they will help slow down those that are coming across the border, because they know we will stop their commerce if they continue to help people cross the border into our country.
And I'm sure that's exactly the kind of involvement that you're hoping for from the federal government. Speaking to your earlier point about the legality of all of this, that Supreme Court case in 2012 establishing that states can't make their own immigration policy, I'm left wondering how we ended up then with sanctuary cities and states. I'm no lawyer, but have you had any pushback, legal pushback on this process?
Well, when I became lieutenant governor, it was one of the first bills I passed to end sanctuary cities, and we've not had that overturned, so we prevailed there. But it's controlling that border that is the real issue. And I want to paint a picture for everyone in America to understand the numbers, because we have 1,254 miles of border with Mexico in Texas. To put that in perspective, that's Boston to Jacksonville, Florida. That's what we have to protect, and they're not letting us protect it. You can also see why. I said last week on Fox, made a lot of news, that by the end of the Biden administration, about 20% potentially of all people living in America will be here illegally. If you look at the border statistics from 1990 through 2021 and project out the Biden administration, will be nearly 60 million people here illegally. We cannot be invaded at that scale. The impact on our education system, our healthcare system, crime. So we in Texas will do the job. We can do the job. The federal government needs to get out of the way or do their job. But that's what we're attempting to do so through the buses, through the trucking, and through putting thousands of troopers on the border and thousands of National Guard.
I want to ask you, the White House initially dismissed this as a publicity stunt. I think they didn't believe that Greg Abbott would follow through with this, but then you guys did. And I want to get your reaction to what Jen Psaki said to me in the briefing room earlier this week. Listen.
These are all migrants who have been processed by CBP and are free to travel, so it's nice the state of Texas is helping them get to their final destination as they await in their outcome of their immigration proceedings. And they're all in immigration proceedings.
It's nice.
Yeah, you know what? She's a joke. And this whole administration is a joke. Look, people are dying. Children are being sex trafficked. Women are being sex trafficked. Fentanyl is coming into this country. Again, millions are pouring across the border. Do you know that under the first full 4 years of Biden administration, it's possible that he will allow more people into this country than live in Texas today, 29 million? I've had it with her. I've had it with him, the vice president, their secretary of ICE and Homeland Security, because they're doing nothing. They haven't pushed back on my numbers that 1 out of 5 could be here illegally by the year 2024. They haven't pushed back on anything. They make a joke of it. People are dying. People are getting killed. Our country is being lost. And they sit there and smirk and make jokes. I don't have any time for her. These are not serious people. They don't know what they're talking about. They've never been to the border. And Texas will stand tall and will do everything we can. And I hope we can get back to the Supreme Court where they will say, under this new court, that we have a right to protect our citizens and American citizens beyond the Texas border.
I want to get your reaction to one other thing on the truck inspections.
Yes.
The White House press secretary this week implied that this was potentially impacting inflation. She said that these unnecessary inspections were contributing to rising prices for Americans and supply chain disruptions. What is your reaction to critics who say that this is making it worse?
Look, the Biden administration is fully 100% responsible for inflation by flooding the market with money, by their policies, by their giveaways, even giving away cell phones to immigrants that cross here. They just give away everything. They try to blame it on Putin. They try to blame it on Texas. They try to blame it on the oil and gas industry. They try to blame it on home builders. They blame it on everyone. It's their fault. It's their inflation. It's not our fault. Look, we have to put pressure. If the Biden administration is not going to secure the border, we have to put pressure where we can put pressure. And by stopping these trucks coming across the border, it didn't take long for the governors in Mexico to say, wait a minute, you're killing our commerce. We can't get our fruits and vegetables across. We can't get our products across. And now they've come to the table. We'll see if they live up to it. But they've come to the table and said, OK, we'll help. We'll help. This is what Trump did in his final couple of years in office. He put pressure on Mexico economically. If you don't slow down border traffic, we're going to penalize you, put tariffs on your products. And in the last year of Trump, we actually had control of the border. Under Biden, again, we had over 1.5 million people in the first 15 months since he's been in office. If he repeals Title 42, the projection is 18,000 people a day. That's 5 million in 1 year.
It's going to be end of next month. We're certain of that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if he backs down. Mr. President, you need not to repeal that order. You're going to destroy your country even further. You need to stay with Title 42 and allow Texas to secure the border. We'll get it done because you're not.
Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.